evening, bitches! For those of you who didn't already know, the Elysian Shadows project has a Kickstarter campaign launching on August 1st to fund the project through to completion. This is why I look like shit, I haven't slept, and the entire development studio basically looks like a bomb just went off in here.
Some days, shit's not so glamorous in development.
Don't fucking judge me, we're out of fucking bowls and dishes. And we haven't left this fucking room in days. I'm trying to eat fucking cereal here. It's breakfast.
It's fine.
Fucking the rock star life of indie game development.
Well, since we've discovered a clean bowl, I think I'm gonna go get that other box in there.
And now everything we've done as a team, our hopes, our dreams, our ambitions, our goals for this game, everything that we've done together, our blood, our sweat, our tears, it's all boiling up to a pinnacle, which is this Kickstarter, which will literally determine the future of this project and this team once and for all on August 1st. So to say that we're stressed out or to say that the stakes are high would be a fucking understatement. So welcome to Adventures in Game Development Chapter. I don't even fucking know because they all blur together because we haven't left this fucking room in like a month. Quit our jobs, Kickstarter's right down the... It's like what, in like 24 days?
Well, I'll tell you exactly it is.
And we're just sitting here working on this goddamn 2D RPG called Elysian Shadows, hoping that someday some motherfuckers will play our game and enjoy it.
24 days, 2 hours, 2 minutes, 39 seconds.
I want you to realize, like all of our hard work, all of our team's work, our investment money, our publisher's money, everything's on the fucking line here, bro.
So why aren't you working?
No pressure. So Tyler and I have literally spent the entire day doing nothing but researching other people's Kickstarters, what they did well, what they didn't do well, aesthetically, how they presented their game. I've read this throughout the week. We've done so much research. We filled up the entire walls with a plan of attack.
Yep.
We have 24 days to make all this shit happen. There's the basic plan of attack. Here's the assets we're going to need for the actual Kickstarter page. Assets we're going to need for the video. Here's notes we took on other people's campaigns, research we did on their videos, on their rewards and goals, on their presentation, and miscellaneous things. Like, we are literally pouring every fucking ounce of our creativity.
We went back and when we were reviewing these Kickstarters, I mean, we looked at everything from like what their initial goal was to like how many backers they had, like what the average contribution was, like what percentage they surpassed their initial goals, and analyzed not only just their videos but like their page layout, their assets, how they presented, their wording, everything. I mean, we're in this to win. I mean,
everything, there are years, like, everything we've fucking done for this project, this entire team, our investors' money, Tulio and Watermelon's respect for us, it's all in the line here.
Respect
like,
for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we fail at this point, if we let ourselves down at this point, like, what, I will regret this even more than, like, regretting not having taken this chance. I mean, we cannot screw up. We're in this to win. Like,
so basically what we're saying is we're not going to be leaving this room for a month. My house is a fucking mess. Like, I used to be one of those, like, fashionably trendy clean house guys. Well, I quit my job, and I ain't fucking one of those anymore. House looks like shit. Haven't been shopping in a goddamn week. We're out of fucking toilet paper, Tyler. About to have to start wiping your ass with coffee filters back here.
What about paper towels?
Or paper towels. Oh yeah, we did buy these new lights to combat the depression in this room. Because it's so fucking dark in here, and like we sleep all day.
I haven't seen daylight in a couple days.
Right. So this is for our serotonin levels. It's working pretty well actually. I'm feeling
a lot better.
Feeling a little precious today.
I've got almost all of that done. Almost all of that can be done.
Welcome to crunch time, bitches. You're on camera.
And remember, like, you know, sorry?
You're on camera.
He's filming.
It's crunch time. We're all getting ready for the fucking Kickstarter. That's why everyone looks like shit and everyone's stressed out.
While I was working on Julian's animations, you were working on something very fundamental over here.
So, it's quite fundamental. Been thinking about implementing pixel perfect shadows for quite a while. Yes. So I did. So here I am an omnidirectional point light, right?
Yeah.
And you can see it's not casting shadows from shadow volumes anymore. Like it's actually casting blocky shadows based on the
transparencies of the
the texture geometry. So
that is astounding.
In the fragment shader on the shadow pass, I'm actually having to sample the texture itself and discard the fragment before it's written to the depth buffer in that pass. So I want you to fucking understand, like, I mean, it looks really good, but this is so much more expensive because now we're doing texturing for every light pass, and for a point light there's 6 passes for every direction to do that. And so now we have to apply textures and sample them in those shaders and render all of that geometry instead of just rendering the simplified shadow volume. So hope you're fucking happy.
What you're telling me is we're gonna have actual graphic settings for ES.
Yeah,
we never thought about.
Right. So what we're doing on the release and the Kickstarter, we're gonna have basically like 3 modes for ES. One is classic mode, where basically it's not next gen. We're disabling dynamic lighting. We're disabling shadows, bump maps, everything, 3D perspective. You're playing ES as though it's an old school 2D RPG.
Okay.
And then there's next gen mode, which adds the spotlights, or it adds dynamic lighting, bump mapping, and all that to some extent. And then there's next gen plus, which will add the omnidirectional shadows and all that. I want you to look at this. The particles from running are casting shadows. Can you see that?
Oh Jesus!
So like, can you see?
I'm trying to get zoomed in close enough to see. Yeah, you can kind of see it.
So I mean, I can cast pixel perfect shadows from anything. I can cast pixel perfect shadows from particles now. I mean, obviously that is not a cheap endeavor. Like, you have a good PC, you can play ES like the highest settings.
What you're telling me is the Dreamcast may not have that, but
I have a little trouble.
We will give it our damnedest.
Show them what you showed me.
We're working with some more complex animations for Julian, specifically like swinging swords, picking up items, and having his arms actually react to the environment instead of it just kind of like sticking to the side of his head. So, working on this.
In theory,
this is a lot closer. I mean, they're all
Jesus.
the right orientation and sort of placement on his body.
We're trying to keep his hands underneath the object he's carrying, you know, so it looks like he's carrying them. And, like, animate the hands independently from the legs, but it's
I
reasonable.
found out, first of all, the barrel wasn't aligned to the center of the 32 by 32.
I did notice that it looked reached.
I
You
was
fixed
like,
it, right?
How is this off? Yeah, I fixed that.
How was that off?
I don't even know, because it's off in the tile for the sheet, and then however.
Oh, that's right. It was off on the sheet.
So I fixed that. I'm like, okay, things start to like align and make sense now. I'm like, I'm not losing my mind. But like right now, what I was doing, like we actually have Julian separated into two distinct sheets. This one is just his body,
Right,
and then we had one that was just his arms.
right.
But I was running out of space because I was cheap and being lazy, and the arm sheet was the exact same size as the body sheet. 256 by 512 with the arms taking up 32 by 64. So I've since made them 32 by 32.
Oh, very nice.
And the offsets are obviously a lot different.
Right.
For when they're placed on the body.
Right, so just for future reference, everyone knows, like, moving forward, ESTK is going to invoke, like, Texture Packer or something, so that every one of these separate tiles in a sheet will be, like, packed as closely together as physically possible to conserve video RAM, especially on the Dreamcast. And then we're going to invoke tools that will palette them and compress them for whichever platform. Like, I know the Tegra 3 on the Droid and Ouya on iOS runs like shit unless you use the hardware compression, and then the Dreamcast is also faster with that, so we're going to integrate that in ESTK.
Alright. Bitch Skillet, what do we got going on?
Alright, so basically, we have not worked on the toolkit in a very long time because
You mean years?
yeah, it shares the basic framework with the engine, but since I added dynamic lighting, I completely fucked up and broke the toolkit build. So we haven't used it in a while, but like with Kickstarter right around the fucking corner, like we're having to shit out a bunch of levels and assets and do a lot of things, so like I'm having to revisit ESTK in like an ancient branch that's like completely diverged from where the engine is right now, and having to maintain compatibility. But like, so I added some things that are going to be like pretty useful for the Kickstarter. I feel
that
like
area looks familiar.
yeah, let me go to my shrine. So
Yeah, I was gonna
first
those
and
tonight.
foremost, I added the ability to select one tile. You can flag things as stand on now that we moved to 3D. You have to be able to say whether an object is solid in 3 dimensions. So if an object is not stand on, you'll just fucking fall through it. So you have to literally like toggle the floors to stand on now, you know, or otherwise gravity will pull you through. Transparency, this is an optimization that like I decided to add after the Ouya build. If the tiles, this is for partial transparency, if the tiles don't use partial transparency, which 90% of them don't, you keep this off.
So it's not even trying to
and
check
yeah,
it.
you're saving a lot of horsepower on the fragment shader, not having to do the blending and shit.
Yeah.
The alpha test.
I noticed the maps there too.
Right, so to like help deal with the bullshit of the normal and specular map stuff, now every tile you can toggle whether or not it needs to have a normal or specular map associated with it.
Individually.
Right, and then ESTK will sample those tiles, basically scatter them, shit them out independently, invoke Sprite Lamp or whatever
third party
normal specular tool we're integrating with, convert them, and then batch gather them and shit them back into a sheet. So like the workflow there is a lot better. We won't have to deal with like the bullshit of those maps being fucked. I also added the ability to like
group stuff.
Yeah, here's the group shit. So like you were bitching that it's like a pain in the ass to change colliders.
It wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't like buggy.
So this is the group, a group of 4, whatever. So you can see here's their colliders. I can change one. It changes the collider for the group. I changed stand on transparency. And undo redo is like completely pristine. Basically, it's fucking awesome. I added the plane, which is basically the normal face. This is like some serious like 3D shit that we've now decided to add.
We're calling it the plane.
Yeah, because it's not a normal anymore. It's basically like the So now that we're moving like a bunch into 3D and all that bullshit, we have to be, oh, I just completely fucked at that level. We have to be able to represent a map so that it looks good and cohesive in
that looks
an
different.
orthographic projection in 2D and a true perspective projection in 3D. So a lot of this is like trying to get the math to be uniform and trying to get the lights and the physics and everything to work out and look good in levels that you know were designed in 2D to still like fucking
still
operate
have the
correctly in
slant or
3D,
whatever.
right?
Yeah.
It's like you can see that this is completely like
Yeah, that looks
I
so
got
much
rid of the
better.
slant, right? So that it looks a lot better. So basically, the way that it works now is in ESTK, every tile location has a plane associated with it. That's what this is. So there's some planes that we haven't implemented yet. So right now, every tile, it's no longer 2D. Basically, a tile is now a cube.
Yes.
And the plane is which face of the cube the tile is. The tile could be the front of a cube, left side of a cube, right side of a cube. It can be front, like 45-degree angle, stuff like that. So that's
top.
tiles are basically, think of them as cubes at this point. So you can modify that in ESTK as well. And I think I did some other shit. Oh yeah, it doesn't crash when you exit anymore.
Yes.
It's been doing that.
Although
for like
I can't
a
tell you the
fucking year.
last time that I closed the toolkit.
I'm just excited for after the fucking Kickstarter.
Oh
like
my
we've been
God.
working like so fucking balls to the wall, like trying to get stuff like to show off.
Oh yes.
There's a lot of infrastructure and
Quality
a
of
lot
life
software,
implementations.
Yeah, software architecture shit that I would like to fundamentally work on and rework and re-architect, especially ESTK. Like after the Kickstarter,
Oh my
before I do
God.
any engine programming, like gonna have a major ESTK revision with like dynamic lighting and a whole bunch of stuff added to it
Entities, animation.
to make our
like-
lives easier. But right now we ain't got fucking time for that because we have a Kickstarter.
So about 10 days ago, we actually had the opportunity to meet Tulio from Watermelon Games. He made the long journey down to Alabama from Iowa. He actually brought us, surprised us, brought us copies of the original Peter Solar. This is not a reprint. It was pretty surreal seeing like 7 or 8 years of someone's life in a solid package like this. We even actually had him sign and address the game to us. It was a really awesome experience being able to talk with him about the production aspect as well. It's like producing the physical game as well as the production of the game itself.
Yeah, Tulio coming to visit was extremely awesome and beneficial to our team, and I'm extremely grateful for that. A couple weeks ago, we were just engineers with a desk job. You know, we've always known how to develop games and even market them, but none of us have ever started a game development company or had to make a living off of games, you know? So suddenly we're like, holy fuck, I'm not a businessman, I don't know how this works, and Tulio really helped introduce us to that side of game development, helped break that down for us in a way that I think would have been a lot harder to have to learn on our own, and I'm extremely grateful for that. They're here. They're here. They're finally here. I can't fucking believe it. We got a whole box of these bitches. This, my new company business card. And Tyler has like 50 million of them too. Check this shit out. The Elysian Shadows logo. The next generation indie 2D 3D RPG website name. Look at this shit. I am the founder / lead software architect because we have so many other software architects.
Back.
Yes, the back. It's fucking amazing.
Playroom
And
for
what,
the-
show them what yours says. Show them your title.
Officially.
Founder / lead gameplay engineer. We're all lead because we own the fucking company.
Until we get other people in here, I mean, I'm the
Hey, it's our company. If I want to be like lead narcissistic asswipe, I'll be
Put it
that.
on the business card.
Well, you got to be a little professional, you know. Like go to a bar and be like, hey, baby, we're a game developer.
I see you're the narcissistic asshole. Yes, I am.
I'd be like, I'm sure we'd be like so proud of ourselves like several years ago, like, oh my god, we're doing the dream, but like we're so fucking busy, ain't nobody got time to be proud of
My
ourselves.
man, that's awesome. Get back to work. So it is 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still going strong on the animations. Made pretty awesome progress.
And they look fucking badass. See, so he's carrying a barrel with his weapon on his back. Proper parenting for everything. Puts the barrel down. Dude, I'm so used to having shit animations. That's like incredible to me.
That's an infinitely dense barrel. It doesn't like that.
Oh. Shit.
But yeah, like the animations for the sword in the scabbard, it's two actually independent entities because I wanted to use the animations for the hands to draw the sword.
Right.
So it is two completely independent entities, and all the parenting plus like the offsets for the textures while like fucking trying to get it like every single frame of motion for walking correct. Jesus, we need this in the toolkit. But you know, ain't got no time for that. I'm working on a Kickstarter, so.
Alright, we slept 15 fucking hours. We ain't got time to take a day off. So the Kickstarter is right around the corner, and we fundamentally restructure the way our maps are saved and handled. So here we are having to redo every map and asset we've ever done for ES, trying to get all the normals right, trying to get everything, like, consistent and cohesive for this fucking Kickstarter.
What have we done?
Fucking retarded. Show real quick, like, what
Oh my god. So, here, let me launch. Basically, like, for, like, everything looks okay this way, right? Yeah. But when you go into, like, this view, it doesn't.
Not fully. It looks
Not
better than it... Oh, dude, it used to look so bad.
Let me show you what it looks like now. Like,
We've got to restructure some stuff, the way we do art, fix some things up, and that's nothing. Like now, this is after we've made it cohesive between 2D and 3D. It used to be a lot worse.
I mean, this was like stuff we'd either never touched before, like we'd already done, but like the change in the toolkit, the way the map saved, just broke everything anyway. So we're literally starting like fresh.
Like we're not even coding today. We're just like fuck. We're a full-time level design, like fixing collision, fixing elevation, fixing both perspectives.
I hate myself and everyone on the team.
I know. I hate everyone. You're not leaving this room, motherfucker. Hey, bro. Looks like your shit is fundamentally rested. Jesus.
I mean, it's fine. Once you like come back into like.
Shit is 3D. Do that again.
I don't know.
What would you do? Like pitch the camera? Jesus.
I don't know how it turned inside out. That's impressive.
Oh yeah, it's not bounded. Yeah, you totally like turn the camera inside out. Oh yes, is that what you did?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh,
It's
well
really-
don't do that.
It's really sensitive.
Jesus. Here's our levels Kickstarter. You really need to buy this game. Just give us all your money.
Please. So we can actually make good fucking levels.
Alright, motherfucker, show me the latest on the Elysian stove.
This is one of the existing areas that we had. This is what we call the Alchemist Shop.
Damn, that looks good in full 3D.
Yeah, this is one of the first areas I went back that actually tried to elevate and recreate the
Right,
level
we
in
have to
full
we have to
3D.
put in the sides right now. That's what we're working on. But
Yeah. And I turned the sun back on, so that's why you see shadows here, just to light it up.
Right.
But you can see how we were talking about having like the areas a little bit too narrow, like this.
Right.
To where we wanted to make them a little bit bigger and give them a little bit more depth.
Right.
But you can see, like, even without like the left and right facing stuff in, like how much just more vibrant and alive the entire atmosphere feels.
Right.
Like,
It looks great.
I mean, it's incredible.
Jesus, I can't wait to see what all these other old maps look like now that like our shit's pristine.
I mean, there's no normal mapping, no specular mapping, anything, and like
Yeah, that's just vanilla, dude. So it's gonna
weren't
be even
meant
better.
to be like this too. You see how like the top of the counter was still baked into the
Right,
part, like
right.
It's not able to be separated and flipped correctly, so we're gonna have to work on that. But it's a couple of simple graphics changes on the sheet. And like, see how this is elevated above the wall, but like over here, it's actually like present on the floor. I actually edited the tiles for that and made that just to make sure, like a proof of concept. But
Fucking A,
this
pixel
is
artist.
game changing.
So you say Chris replied, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, so I got an email from Chris. So this is the guy that did the marketing campaign and help for the Kickstarter for Watermelon's Pure Solar HD. He has industry contacts. Like, he's a really good guy to know. He's helped considerably with their PR and marketing.
Yep.
See, part of the thing is, like, well, obviously, like, we do a lot of PR and marketing because the reason I'm fucking talking to you right now is Adventures in Game Development, which itself is arguably a fucking PR stunt.
It is.
But I digress. So, you know, it doesn't matter how well we campaign with ES. Like, I will say that we've done pretty well. Like, we've been covered by some pretty major gaming sites. We're being backed by Ouya. We have the publishing deal on the Dreamcast. We're now about to be on the cut where the cover story of
IGN.
August issue of Indie Game Magazine. Like, we've been doing a lot of PR on our own, but the truth is that, like, to launch a Kickstarter, the fucking magnitude of what we have to achieve here, or else there's no way we'll be able to fund this game. We need to be able to reach out of, like, the niche community that we've built up, that is YouTube, I guess our Facebook narcissism kind of counts.
Yeah.
Dreamcast scene big, and Ouya. Like, we're huge in those, but that doesn't necessarily represent, like, the entire, you know, gaming community that we're trying to reach out to.
We have a much larger attack
We really need
surface.
to break into the mainstream, like the Kotakus and the Game of Sutras. So we're really targeting this campaign at broadening the appeal of ES and,
Yep.
and really trying to branch out and sell it to people outside of our usual user base, because otherwise
Our
we're
fanboys.
fucked. Like, there's no way we can make it, so no pressure, but we're calling in some reinforcements. We've really been facing marketing kind of like a band touring to support an album. I mean, we'd wake up at like 3 p.m. hungover, exhausted from staying up all night deving the night before, and we would do live streams, podcasts, interviews, Google Hangouts, articles on websites, anything we could possibly do to help get the word out there about Elysian Shadows and help connect with the gaming audience.
So, we are running a little late.
Shit's reason.
We're supposed to be
We're on stage at 11.
at 11. Currently, got a little ways to go.
We're in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Alabama.
Yeah.
Doubling the speed limit. Also, I have a warrant out for my arrest right now for going 95 miles an hour in this Prius and not paying the parking ticket. Oops!
Well, if nothing else, we're consistent.
So, Adventures in Game Development Chapter 27 might have to be recorded from jail. It's been simultaneously exhausting and exhilarating. It's kind of been like being an indie game dev rock star on tour, like, for your upcoming album. It's been awesome. Like, we've met a lot of really fucking cool people. A lot of passionate people out there who, you know, they understand what we're trying to do creatively with Elysian Shadows and what it is we're trying to achieve and the statement we're trying to make, and that's been extremely rewarding to us. But what has not been rewarding for us is all of the bullshit that Wikipedia has put our team and our fans through just trying to get an Elysian Shadows page up, a Wikipedia article. So, like, some fans of ours went off and created this beautiful work of art Wikipedia page that, like, spanned the entire history of this project, like, covered every Aegid episode. It was fucking epic, and it had a lot of really good sources. Some people on Wikipedia bitched. They said the sources weren't good enough or whatever.
Apparently, Sega sources do not count as being reputable. They were recommended that they choose sources from an approved list of resources, none of which had Sega news sites or Sega fan sites or anything like that among them.
And the funny thing is that these pompous sacks of shit gave us this, like, they gave them this web tool that is like, okay, here's the approved
It's like a
list of
modified
sites.
Google
Yeah,
search,
and like Elysian Shadows has 10 fucking pages of results there. And they're just arguing that it's not significant enough. They have 9,000 subscribers, almost 10,000 on YouTube. Not significant. They were invited to do lectures at these gaming conventions. Not significant. Like, who
even UAH?
the fuck are you to determine, like, the level of significance of these kind of indie projects? And who the fuck are you to say that the Sega scene and the Sega community and these big games that are coming out for the Dreamcast are not fucking significant? Like, the audacity.
I feel like they're not Sega fans. Like, they either don't know video games or
they
they hate
don't.
Sega. I mean, even as it stands right now, there's a
They
web
grew up
page.
without a Dreamcast.
There's a webpage discussion that you can go look at that the fan that wrote this actually filed for what was it? Discrimination against Sega.
Right, it's
and
so
against
bad
video
that
games.
they're like now saying, dude, you guys are discriminating against Sega, against Elysian Shadows. I mean, it's bigger than just us now. Like, there are seriously reputable fucking Sega sites that have had ex-presidents of Sega on their interview, but they're being claimed insignificant or not a big enough deal to be on Wikipedia. It's just like there's these pompous, arrogant, elitist fucking pricks on that page who are just like, I don't like your project, you're not going to be on here.
Well,
and that's kind of fucked up. Like, we stood back and we saw this happen. You know, you want more sources, that's cool. Well, guess what? Like, we are getting pretty popular now. We have some pretty big sources. And our fans are going through hell, and they don't deserve this. Neither do all the other Sega sites. So like,
well, even now, like our Wikipedia page is nothing like what it was originally.
Yeah,
right now,
it's
it is a
shadow
of what it was, but every single sentence on there is referenced via that like approved list.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, no, delete
and
it.
it's still not good enough.
And they still delete it. It's like it's your rules.
So let me
like,
say this. Like, this is a call to arms for all the Sega fans, all of our fans, everyone who wants to see this stuff on Wikipedia, and for everyone who's a fan of this. They say we're not fucking significant enough, so let's show these pompous ass sacks of shit exactly how significant we are. This means fucking war.
So somebody has a graduate level presentation that they have to do tomorrow, as well as work on ES.
Dude, I'm fucking retarded. I know, we've been up all night fucking working on shit. So, I'm an arrogant sack of shit, but the most arrogant thing I ever did was thinking that I could work on ES and this Kickstarter campaign and continue getting my master's. Like, that was fucking stupid. So, what I've done is I'm in a graduate level GPU course. So, I'm integrating all of my schoolwork with Elysian stuff. So, GPU computing applications in game development. So, I'm talking about the GPU graphics pipeline, all that shit. Showing off like physics, especially physics. Doesn't that look familiar? Doesn't that look
And the
familiar?
Rainbow Road too.
So essentially what we're doing is, let me open up the Elysian stoves. We need, right now, so we're implementing a whole bunch of advanced physics shit. Let me just fucking break each of these assholes. Like, boom, boom, break, like, they look a little fucked up right now, but that's okay. You get the point. There's a lot of particles, and those particles are all rigid bodies in like full 3D and shit. So we need an efficient way of managing them, broad-phase collisions. So we need a broad-phase collision check. Graduate school needs a GPU project. Guess what my project is? So yeah, I'll be giving this presentation in a few hours, and it's going directly to Elysian stoves. Our physics engine will be benefiting from my graduate academia work.
I commend you for the weaving of these two projects together.
So this is a lecture about GPU computing applications for graphics and game development. So this is using the GPU with either OpenCL or CUDA with what it's actually meant to be for, which is graphics and game applications. This is an outline of what I'm going to talk about, the motivation for why you even want to do that, and then I'll go into a little bit of introduction to the graphics pipeline and shaders just so you understand how they interop.
So after his presentation, Falco came home and kind of passed out, but it's been a couple hours. I think it's time for him to get up. Hey, I need you to get back to work. No slacking. We got a Kickstarter. 20 days.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m. You slept for like 5 hours.
Jesus. These are fucking like...
That was you. That's all you. Is that chowder?
I slept in clam chowder.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hate everything.
The wakey wakey sunshine.
So one of the things I've always been self-conscious about, like as a developer of Elysian Shadows, is the fact that really I feel like most of our screenshots technically have like an inconsistent feel as far as like style and not necessarily perspective, because that's part of the gameplay, but especially as far as like the 3D effects, the bump mapping and specular mapping, and part of this is because we really haven't finalized like a lot of those aspects of the engine. So part of what we've shown off, you know, is actually in the tech demo stage, but that's really going to hurt us going into a Kickstarter. We really have to have like screenshots with
vision.
Yeah, a cohesive vision established. So one of the things we've done is Tyler's over here working on generating the
bump and specular maps.
bump and specular maps. Part of the biggest issue we've had with the 3D effects. So there's the tile sheet with the 3D effect applied to it, right? With the bump and specular generation.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues we've had is that the easiest way to do it is to put the entire sheet through that. But not all of your sheet needs to be shiny or needs to be that level of reflective. You know, you don't want to bump map every surface because
not even the entirety of a single tile.
No, absolutely not. Like organic things like grass and trees really don't look that good bump mapped. It makes your game look like really shiny and clay-like. It's really better to accent things. So part of what we've done to rectify the situation is we have formed a software alliance. Hopefully you guys have heard of these guys because they're actually awesome, if I can find them. With Sprite Lamp. So these guys, this guy is actually, first of all, he's badass. He made this, funded through Kickstarter. Basically, it's a 2D application, basically a tool that aids in bump and normal map generation specifically for pixel art.
That's the biggest problem with a lot of these is like almost every single map generator you can find out there, like online, even like Adobe tools, like even NVIDIA's own like bump map tool interpolates everything. It's not meant for pixel perfect.
So one of the things that this guy did that made him such a badass, so you can see like here's one of his sprites, so that's going to be the same technology we're using for our generation, is he basically devised a way that lets you create these light map inputs, basically like showing how the player should be lit from every direction, the sprite, and from that it's able to generate normal maps, giving you full control as to how they look with pixel art. And so we talked to this guy and we introduced him to Elysian Shadows, you know, like we told him like we're doing
for integration with toolkits.
We have a project that is really using exactly the same technology that you're creating. So we've partnered with him and we've received beta builds for SpriteLamp, and we're currently in the process of integrating it with ESTK.
Yep.
So that from the toolkit. Oh yeah, there's the stones.
That's all 2D.
Yeah, all 2D. So from ESTK, from our sheet manager, so here's the toolkit. Sheet manager is where we manage the sheets.
Well.
Obviously, so let me pop its bitch ass over here. So from sheet manager, we want to be able to select individual tiles and flag them to be pre-processed, or flag them as being bump mapped or specularly mapped, and from there we can invoke and integrate with SpriteLamp
via the tool. One of the big things about doing it as a single sheet like this too that we had to deal with was like obviously the normal map that it's going to guess that you should be is going to be influenced by the tile next to you. So if you have like water next to grass, you're going to get like this beveled weirdness that like is going to mess with the tiling of the grass tile. You're going to have like that beveled edge, and it's going to look blocky like what you've seen in like the church tile floors and stuff. It's not really supposed to look like that. So we've had to take these entire tile sheets, blow them apart, process each tile individually, and then put them back together. Like, doing that manually is ridiculous, which is why we haven't done it so far, but especially with being able to integrate Sheet Manager along with that, like, that's exactly what we need.
That's something you want to tell the fans?
So basically, yes. Haven't slept in like 2 days, but like...
Yeah, I'm going on 3 myself.
So basically, all I've been doing today is like, with ES, we wanted to push the envelope and like really blur the lines between 2D and 3D, but like, even within our own team and even in my own mind, like I've been very uncertain of exactly how we would pull certain things off, like exactly what the line is between 2D and 3D, exactly which levels would be 3D, you know, exactly how that mechanic would work, and that's not good. Like, we want to have a solid vision before the Kickstarter, and so like I really feel like today I've solidified, kind of like Fez, where like you're in a 2D world that's also 3D. Like, I've made it cohesive in the sense that
it's
you are
not just some fancy
3D.
Camera tricks or like,
So I've been going back and like fundamentally fucking re-architecting maps now that like I pimped the shit out of ESTK and like I have a new
and broke every map.
a new geometric vision for how to assemble things. And like, one of the things that I've been doing especially is like these considerable amount of time in these shadows, which rape everything, but they're absolutely gorgeous. So this is
perfect.
These are pixel perfect. Yeah, here it is, 2D, 100% 2D.
No shadow volumes.
No shadow volumes, pixel perfect. So this is the game like in 2D. It's traditional, like top down, 100% like as the artist draws it, but I'm able to represent with the same geometry and the same sprites the game in 3D with true 3 dimensions, a true perspective projection. There's also like what Fez did, which is oblique orthographic. This is like what Fez did. Like, it's not truly a perspective projection 3D, but we can do both. We can do true 3D and really blur the lines there. And as you can see, like with the new cube fucking orientation, normals and shit. Like I'm able
planes.
to orient, the new planes. I'm able to orient things like much more effectively in
Shit,
three
those pillars
dimensions.
are still bump mapped. I forgot about that.
Right. So yeah, that's taking a lot of time as these shadows. Like to be completely honest, I've never been fully satisfied with the shadows.
No, me neither.
Yes, like it's just been something in the back of my mind that I've just been like.
They've gotten a lot better. I mean, once we learned kind of what we were doing, we were able to play with different lighting effects, and we were able to, especially in Lauren, you know, like set it off and really kind of showed the vision for what we wanted. But like a lot of people don't know that shit was actually pretty inaccurate. I really kind of hacked it together. Like, this, I mean, we don't have to have shadow volumes. I mean, that is all generated by the actual terrain and the assets. This is one of the more famous scenes that
It's fundamental.
has been seen in different screenshots. But we finally were able to do something that we've been working on for a long time.
Bum bum bum.
You can see that we're no longer able to see behind these walls in 3D space. Just the result of elevating, obviously the forward-facing walls doesn't mean there's just gaps in the environment. This is actually all taking place in 3D.
Right.
One of the things that we wanted to do as well was eliminate like the walls in the front of things when using this kind of perspective. We felt that it was too limiting, made things a little bit too narrow, but obviously adding these really gives that sense of depth.
It really, I mean, it's true 3D now. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can pitch the camera, you could go to fucking first person, like
Yeah,
it's
like this.
it's 3D as shit.
You got something to show off to us here?
Yeah, so this is kind of like a very ESC well-known area. It's like one of the first things we introduced for the ruins. I just kind of like it because of the way that the elevation and depth's been done.
Yeah.
So all I had to do was fundamentally re-fucking architect everything ever under the sun.
Yeah.
And now it's pristine in 3D. So as you can see, without elevation, this is the elevation.
Oh my god.
But no, the result was astounding. So if you look over here, please, I have it running over here. So this is normal view, orthographic. Don't ignore that; it's slightly raised. But you pop down into perspective projection, and it looks very good. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to do the side normals yet.
Yeah.
But, so you can combine that with like our dynamic lighting engine per pixel perfect. Like it just looks. It looks astounding. See, like the shadows and stuff, really giving ruins vibes to the ruins, and it's casting off of like natural things. See, there's a shadow back here because of like bridges and because of platforms, not just objects anymore. It's the actual tile architecture themselves casting the shadows.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it looks pretty fucking cool, and you can, you could go like full first person, like pitch down and stuff like that, and it looks very, very much like a 3D game now that you do this. I mean, it is a fucking 3D game, but it's cohesive in that in 2D and 3D, like it's equally playable, and it looks like it was designed for both, which is kind of the goal. Jesus, explain what we're seeing.
Well, it's the boss, but like I messed something up with his face, so I'm not really sure what's happening there. But I was playing around.
It looks pretty epic though.
Some pixel perfect shadows and.
Damn, that's pretty cool as shit. Yeah, explain to them like how you're testing the animation, dude. Do you still have that arm hooked up?
Yeah, it's still.
You gotta show.
Almost every
Funny
single
shit.
time that I've worked with like testing enemy animations for attacks, for like state machine behavior, even like this boss here, I just replace the main character with whatever I'm testing. So like either I'm running around as like a golem or a slime, like attacking other ones, or like in this case, like I am the forearm.
That is Julie.
And I turned off the particle effects, but I was playing around with like the particle effects, simulating movement. I actually had Julian a lot less dampened, so I can move around a lot quicker, just making sure everything looked okay. Because once I get the behavior defined for this one arm, I simply create 3 more and hook them all to the same
Right.
brain.
Hey, pull
So-
up the boss real quick, the mock-up, just so they know. Yeah, I saw it up. Oh, there it is. In case you hadn't seen it before. That is the pissed off, angry boss golem that we are implementing right now.
Yeah, I got some.
He's gonna be the first boss fight, and we're very determined to make him like fucking insane, like to really set the stage for set the bar really high for ES.
Yeah.
You're in this dungeon, it's like Jesus Christ.
So you've been working on the platformer
On
level?
everything. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to architect a level that was made with like the 3D depth like in mind the entire time. And one of the new things that we introduced is fundamentally fucking 3D is the fact that now Julian can jump. You know, we've opened up exploration to 3 dimensions. So made this level just kind of trying to fuse aspects of like the 3D-ness with aspects of platforming. So what it is it's basically like a creepy cave. You can ignore that. It's like a creepy ruins-y kind of place where it's all dark and you have a spotlight on you, and like you're navigating through this platformer place. So I can show you what it actually looks like. This is a 3D platformer now. So those platforms are actually scripted to work. Like you're moving through the ruins, just guided by your little spotlight, like fighting little. Oh shit! Those are finished on the other Mac. I forgot to commit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fighting like little fuckers, like audacious things that are, you know, like emitting their own light. Oh, and I made these that are completely
Mario
wasted right
blocks.
now. Just like, you know, because this is kind of like a Mario-inspired level from Super Mario RPG. So I've implemented chink. Jesus. Oh, also you touch them and it crashes.
Jay!
Work in progress. But yes, platforming mechanics. So the base goal for Kickstarter for getting the project funded is going to be $150K. Some of you might be like, oh god, that's a lot of money for an indie game, but it's completely honest. I don't think any of us could commit to making a game of this caliber or feel like we were doing it justice without that level of funding. Tyler and I both could not work on this project with other jobs. Like, this has to be able to support both of us. And you also have to factor in the fact that this is not a traditional 2D game. As far as art and assets go, it requires a lot of extra work just to get things working correctly in 2D and 3D. So I think that this will cover all of that, and that's a good goal to initially have for the game itself.
This is a stretch goal we're really excited about. With all the hard work that it took for us to be able to get ES running well on a Dreamcast, it would be really easy for us to include modern systems like the PS4, Xbox One, Wii U, 3DS, Vita, as well as also like the Dreamcast. We wanted to include Maraca support and VMUs. We could easily do very system-specific things like that. For the PS4, incorporating a camera and Kinetic on the Xbox One.
One of our loftier stretch goals that we've all been really excited about is the opportunity for opening up Elysian Shadows to be expanded upon. So when we created this engine, we created this toolkit and this entire development suite that has allowed us to make this game. Well, this suite could be released to you guys, and we could open up Elysian Shadows to user-moddable content, user-created content, and we could even release new actual official Elysian Shadows episodes in the form of DLC. When you think about that, the possibilities really become unlimited for what can be done with this world and this technology. And if we reach a certain level of funding, we would certainly feel comfortable releasing these tools to our audience and seeing what can you guys do for the world of Elysian Shadows.
Another awesome stretch goal that we're really excited about is the cloud-based save tool. This would allow you to, say, own Elysian Shadows for your PlayStation 4 mainly, so you play on when you're at home. But if you're going to travel or leave the house for whatever reason, you could then save your file to your 3DS or to your Dreamcast and take like either the VMU or your PlayStation Vita or something like that with you. Experience the game, maybe unlock some exclusive content for that mobile system, and then bring it back into your PlayStation 4 or your Xbox One to continue playing the exact same save file.
So every Kickstarter always has this lofty goal that is like the highest sum that can be reached, the highest stretch goal that usually you're like, I'll never hit that, but if I do, I want something really special here, and I think that what we thought of is truly special for ES. So for us, local multiplayer will definitely be a stretch goal at a lower level, but if we for some reason become like the next big thing, then we would be interested, and I think we would feel comfortable taking the Elysian Shadows experience online. Make a goddamn MMO. Everything I hate about indie projects, being too ambitious. But seriously, we've thought about it, we've considered the logistics. The towns for Elysian Shadows could be kind of like hubs for everyone, hundreds of players there, trading items, battling. chatting, things like that, and then you can formulate parties of 3 or 4, which is exactly how the game works in single player mode. And then you can leave these hubs into instance dungeons, instance ruin, things like that, and you can play through the story mode multiplayer online with other people. And I think that that would be the way that we could truly take the Elysian Shadows experience to the next level and take it online. And we'd be really excited to do that, but it'd take a lot of work.